Oh, there you are, YouTube.
Ready? Got it? Good.
What is it?
Scary stories to tell in
Ooh.
the dark.
All right, the first time watch for all of us.
Ooh.
Since our movie today is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, I wanted to show my Scary Stories books. I only had the first one and the third one, never had the second one, as far as I remember anyway. And I could only find my third one. So here it is. We're going to use it for the family photo today, but I can't find my first one. Perhaps it's at my dad's house in a, packed away or something. I could have it packed away. I don't think so. I don't know why they're separated, but I had the first one and I had the third one and don't remember having the second one. Perhaps I did, but I'm not recalling it. And I haven't seen the movie, so I'm really excited to finally see this movie that is based off of the books that I just loved flipping through as a kid. I didn't necessarily read all the stories. I read very few of them, actually. Not because I was scared, I just was never a big reader. But my favorite thing to do was to look at the illustrations, and they are just as terrifying as ever. Oh, I remember this one right here. I remember, see those squiggly lines on, like, right there? I remember trying to recreate those. That is funny. Like, drawing-wise. Wow, that's funny. I can't believe I just flipped to that page, but yeah, I try and recreate some of these drawings. I remember doing this one too. Right there. Tried to draw that. I don't think with any success. I remember this one too. I mean, that's mostly what I did with these books, is sort of use them as doodle inspiration right there. Remember trying to draw that. But yeah, great books as far, as I remember. But yeah, really excited to watch the movie tonight.
Look at all those pretty red leaves. Doing a little bit of cider today. It says it's 100%. It's right here in this mug and in that one. Maybe ever so faintly you can see Mulder and Scully. In their heads it says, "I want to believe." Do you see that text? What we do is we fill up the glass about to their hairline, where their hair meets, you can see it a little better here, where the hair meets the forehead, and then we heat it up about 2 minutes, and then from here to there we fill with brandy. E&J brandy, Grand Blue, VSOP, extra smooth, rare blend. I don't know what any of that means, but I just know this is brandy, and we have found that we prefer mixing fall and winter drinks with brandy over whiskey, which is what we used to do. So we have hot chocolate, we now put brandy in it. We don't use whiskey anymore. We have cider, we now put brandy in it, not whiskey. But my wife's still a whiskey person. That's still her drink. But when it comes to mixing with fall and winter drinks, we now use this. Any brand of this.
So we thought it was on Amazon Prime, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which is what we're going to watch now while drinking our brandy apple cider. And because, if you're on Amazon Prime, you have to look for the movies that have that little stripe in the corner that says Prime on it. And Scary Stories did, and that's how we filled our calendar. We saw it and we're like, all right, let's add this one to the calendar so we can watch it. But then we go to it just now and realize that is a documentary about the books. So we're not watching that, we're going to watch the movie. Luckily, you can buy the movie on Amazon, so we are going to splurge tonight and actually pay for our film. I mean, I guess we pay for them all through subscription, but we're going to buy this one and add it to our digital movie catalog, I guess. So stay tuned to hear what we think. So my wife and I are trying to figure out who this was made for, because, these are books that I grew up reading I mean, I read some of them. I didn't read them all the way through. I was never much of a reader. I more looked at the pictures. But regardless, I think they were for my age group. Actually, I don't know. I don't think I've ever looked at when they were published, but as far as I know, a kid in the 90s read these. I was a kid in the 90s. I had these books. But I'm in my 30s now. So I'm not, I'm I'm way too old to be reading those books because they're designed for kids. So this movie is designed for kids. But so for me, it was like, oh, cool, I remember this imagery, I remember this story. But beyond that, the movie was definitely not made for me, somebody my age. And we're just trying to figure out who it's for because the kids in the movie, people their age, like 16, 17, are going to want to watch movies like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Halloween, like real horror films that are old, I don't know, older geared, right? And this is like for kids, but it's not Goosebumps for kids. Here's the thing, I think like Goosebumps is for every kid, that movie. And I feel like this movie is for like kids who are reading Goosebumps but are really into creepy things. That's who should watch this because again, Goosebumps is for everybody. Any kid can watch Goosebumps and not be afraid. But here, it's like you need that 7-year-old, that 6, 7, 8-year-old who likes to read Goosebumps but is looking for something more, which I guess is what they would get from reading those books. So I just feel like it's a limited audience. I don't know what this movie made money-wise. I should probably look at the box office, but like I felt like it just kind of came and went. And I think that might be because its audience is so limited. Where Goosebumps, sure, it's about, scary things, but it's just like the most accessible scary things ever. Like anybody can handle it. I don't think anybody can handle this, but the people who are starring in the film, I feel like they are actually too young to care about a movie like this. And anybody younger might, or, super young might be too young. So it's like this young group that wants to watch this sort of movie has to already be interested in creepy subject matter, scary movies, things like that. I think that's what we sort of settled on. Because, like, I don't know, it's for a kid who really likes to read Goosebumps, but is looking for something scarier. So, yeah, 7, 8, 9-year-old wanting something more than Goosebumps is kind of where I'm thinking. I don't know. But, the creature effects were pretty great. Some of them better than others. Some of them, looked a little CGI-ish, but I think with what they were trying to do, that's just the nature of the beast. But some of it looked fantastic. They set up a sequel. I don't know if that's going to happen. Again, I didn't check the box office, but I don't know. Guillermo del Toro, glad he was involved because I'm sure he was responsible for a lot of the creature effects, making sure they're up to standard for something that he is going to produce. But yeah, I don't see this movie being in our countdown again unless our kids really like it when they get older. So I don't see it being in our countdown anytime soon, like any upcoming years until maybe further down the road. Because we liked it, but it's not like something we're like itching to watch again, like a lot of the other movies we put in. So I'm glad I watched it though. It kind of felt like that show, Are You Afraid of the Dark, on Nickelodeon sort of had that tone. So I guess, yeah, if you watch that show as a kid, like let's say this movie came out in the 90s and you watch Are You Afraid of the Dark, I think you might like this movie as well. But yeah, tonally, some of it reminded me of Are You Afraid of the Dark on Nickelodeon from the 90s. Some of it reminded me of It, how With it, you have all those different characters, and then you sort of have to wait for something to happen to each one of them. So you're like, all right, now we got 2 people left. You know, how it's kind of repetitive in a way. This is sort of the same way, because, you know, they're trying to tell these different stories, but in a single film, like, situation. But I think that's, you know, that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of Are You Afraid of the Dark? And it sort of reminded me of It a little bit. And I guess Goosebumps, you know, just these individual stories, you know, trying to get them put into a single film. But again, glad I watched it. It's first time in our calendar, so I only have 1 picture for it. Also, yesterday's picture, we watched BeetleJuice. I didn't get the picture in, so I only showed you old pictures. But we took the picture today, so I will include that. And I will include the old ones also, so you can get them all right in one sitting. So I'm going to include that quick montage right now. Daylight, come on me one, go home. Nice little montage, right? I thought so. So the way in which I showed those was most recent and then went backwards. BeetleJuice has been in our countdown for a very long time, as you can see. I think he's been in every single year. And I have photographed for every single year except for one, because my wife was pregnant and we were, you know, with twins. So it was just like, who has time to take pictures? You know, nobody was in the mood to take pictures. So yeah, that's why one of our calendar years is pictureless. But you wouldn't know that, I guess. Let's see. So yeah, back to Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Those books, loved flipping through those when I was a kid. I would copy those drawings to the best of my ability, and now they exist in a movie. And again, the creature effects were pretty great. I remember seeing a lot of that stuff in those books. And I only had 1 in 3. I think I mentioned this. I didn't have 2, but some of the images from the film did come from 3. So it looks like they used all 3 books. I don't have 2, so I don't know what was going on in that one, but I would assume stories from book 2 are in the film as well. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this vlog, but I do have that 1 picture, so stay tuned for that at the very end. Otherwise, perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.